Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady, thank you all for tuning into Kinetic Aesthetic. I am your host, Jerm, and this is the post-Super Bowl edition of Sports Talk. We all saw the big game. We saw the Seattle Seahawks go in there and defeat the New England Patriots 29-13, and I am just like the rest of y'all. I am a little surprised by the level of beatdown that it turned out to be, but I'm not surprised by the result, not whatsoever. Anybody that has, I'm just going right into the game, anybody that has been following the Seattle Seahawks this entire season, they've known that they were just a dominant Seattle. They were a dominant defensive team. What that defense went out there and did was not really surprising. They just have it all on all three levels. They have a D-line that can get to you with a 3-man or 4-man rush. They don't really need to bring blitzes. You've got solid linebacker play, and then you've got a defensive secondary that is just spectacular. So on all three levels, they just had the advantage. They were able to take advantage of the Patriots, do what they wanted. That offensive line of the Patriots just had no answers. They had their two tackles, Will Campbell and the other guy. They were just dancing the entire night. They just stood no chance. Will Campbell, Mike Vrabel has already come out. That was one of the things I saw as I was getting ready to do this, that he has come out and he's completely shot down any idea or notion of Will Campbell moving inside. But unless he gets just night and day improvement over this offseason, I don't know how you don't do it. I don't know how you don't sort of invest in getting an actual tackle and move him inside, because he's not a bad lineman or a bad player, and he was coming off of injury. He had suffered a pretty bad injury earlier in the year and came back. But he just didn't look like he belonged on that edge. He didn't look like he belonged trying to be a tackle, trying to protect him. All the I will fight and die for Drake May, that amounted to nothing. So that was the big X factor in the game. But just everywhere else on top of that, Seattle they were doing what they wanted. The running game was just, Kenneth Walker deserved Super Bowl MVP. He was absolutely amazing. They couldn't do anything to really stop him. He was a bulldozer. And Sam Darnold, the young Sam Darnold, for all of the shit that people were saying, all the shit that even I had said this whole year about, I'm expecting him to fuck up at some point or to just have a bad game where he throws a lot of picks. He didn't do it. That Sam Darnold, that arc of his career, of him being looked at as that guy who's just, you're waiting for him to make that mistake, I would say that it's over. You know, for him to have the type of postseason run that he did, to have no interceptions, to just go out there and just look impressive each game, he was never the reason why the team was struggling, or he might not have been the number one reason why the team was winning, but he was never like harming the team. So he did exactly what you needed him to do. This is one of those comeback stories that you're going to be talking about for a long time, because this dude was a bust. Like, we talk about seeing ghosts, and people were talking about Drake May seeing ghosts. That originated with Sam Darnold when he was in New York, looking lost and confused and looking like a ball lost in tall weeds. So this is just all kudos to him, everything. He deserves to be able to gloat, to be able to talk shit, because I did not believe that he was going to be able to do this. I didn't believe that they were going to be able to do this. I'm not trying to hate on Seattle when I say this. I don't think they're an all-time top 10 team. I think what they've done was impressive, and I'm like, they're the best team in the league this year. But this team didn't really feel special. So it was going to have to everything was going to have to just work out in their favor. And not saying that they were benefiting from like lucky breaks like the Patriots were, because I'm going to be honest with you, as much as I have respect for Drake May and everything they did, you saw in this game exposed it. They weren't ready for this. If Denver would have been there with Bo Nix in that game, and I'm talking about the AFC Championship game, I don't think that the Patriots would have won that. I think Denver would have put up a much better chance, a much better fight, because as good as the Denver defense is, I just feel like the Denver offense is also just, Drake May has made a lot out of nothing. And people can, I don't want to like lean into the schedule argument in that whole conversation when it comes to Drake, but they benefited. There was no other way to talk. There's no other way to look at it. There's no other way to talk about it. They did not face a real offense this entire time. They didn't face a real complete team until the Super Bowl. And when they did, it came back and it bit them in the ass, because You don't really benefit when you're just barely getting past San Diego. You got Justin Herbert doing his best fucking early Peyton Manning in the playoffs impersonation. Then you have to go face Houston. CJ Stroud completely throws that game. Another quote that I saw that was really telling and interesting. There were two championship, and this was from an anonymous GM. There were two championship defenses this entire postseason. Two. Houston and Seattle. And those two defenses, and he said this very verbatim, all that the offenses and other sides of the ball have to do is just not fuck it up, and those defenses will lead them to glory. And what happened in that divisional game? CJ Stroud threw 4 fucking interceptions, fucked that game up, and he gave New England the win. And Drake May didn't look good. He was dropping fumbles all over the place. He was looking mid, but he was able to just be slightly better than CJ, and that was what got them ahead. And then Bo Nix is out. So I don't want to undermine how impressive and how just like this is a great year for the Patriots. They shouldn't feel bad. 6 Super Bowl losses, but hey, you've been to that many Super Bowls. Fuck whoever has anything to say. You've still got 6 of them, so you know what? You've been to 12. That's crazy. They got nothing to be sad about. So I don't know where they go from here aside from, fix that offensive line. I don't know if next year you can expect everything to break your way. Next year is going to be the most important year for Drake May because this is going to be the year where you show, can you actually do it again? He is unfortunately, after that loss, going to have to fall into this narrative of you were somewhere where you didn't belong. Can you get back? Can you really show that you are the best quarterback of this class? Because a lot of people were ready to crown him over Caleb and over everybody else, over Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix and everybody, if he would have won the Super Bowl. After that performance, I don't know. Like, even taking my Bears fandom out of it, I don't know if I'm going to take Drake May over Caleb Williams just because he got a little further in the playoffs. Did you see how well fucking Caleb was doing? Did you see how dynamic he was? Did you see the throw to Kmet? You compare that with Drake May, who, and let's be honest with you, the best stat line he had was in the Super Bowl, and that was just 295 yards of just empty calories. That wasn't really anything. And I'm pulling up the stats right now just so I'm as clear as possible. But that game, there was no first downs for them until like the third quarter. They weren't putting points on the board until the fourth. This was not a great performance at all. He had a Dak Prescott performance in the Super Bowl, and early Dak Prescott, not this current year Dak Prescott. That's a different guy, but it was empty calories. It was just, they were just throwing points up on the board when the game was already out of reach. And it was funny. The second that they scored that first touchdown and they came back, Drake's looking impressive. They're starting to throw the ball, just throw it up. The second they say he's feeling good and that he's starting to figure this defense out, he throws a pick in a triple coverage. Terrible throw. So this game, even more so than the crowning of the Seattle defense, I would look at this as just the exposure of Drake May. And that's all it was, because as bad as that offensive line was, he just got rattled. He looked shook. And I'm not trying to blame him for it. That was a terrible situation and a terrible position for him to be in. But they dropped the ball. So shout out to Seattle. Shout out to the 12's. I'm going to be going to that parade tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to that. It should be a great time, great fun time. I'll probably come back and tell y'all about it after I'm done. But Seattle has won the Super Bowl. They are the Super Bowl champs. Don't necessarily think that they're going to repeat. I don't think we're on a cusp of a dynasty or anything, but very impressive team. Shout out to them. Shout out to the city. Another thing that I wanted to speak on was Matthew Stafford actually winning the MVP. It was him for MVP. Offensive Player of the Year was JSN. Comeback Player of the Year was Christian McCaffrey. Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett. Offensive Rookie was the Hawaiian nigga on the Carolina teams who said the N-word. Then for Defensive Rookie of the Year, you had a Cleveland linebacker. Not really too many interesting picks. I definitely wouldn't have picked Buddy for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think if I'm being honest, I definitely should have went to somebody like a Jackson Dart. I I don't know. I think they were just much better choices. But he was honestly the most statistically impressive, and his team was in the playoffs, so I can see why they would have leaned with him. Offensive Player of the Year was well-deserved. JSN has been a monster this year. He had a very quiet Super Bowl, but again, that is much more credit to Christian Gonzalez and that Patriots defense. They showed up. The offense let them down, but that Patriots defense showed up. They really impressed me. They're not Seattle. They're not Denver. They're not Houston. They're not those three. But if you are looking for that fourth defense, that number 4, it is New England. They were really fucking good in that game. They were really solid. They just didn't have the offense. But the big thing that I want to speak on was MVP. Matthew Stafford was able to win it over Drake May, and I'm just going to say this. As somebody who believed the entire year that Matthew Stafford deserved it over Drake May, that Super Bowl performance just shut the door on anybody who even had an argument. Matthew Stafford against that defense looked credible. He looked impressive. He looked like he knew how to figure them out. Nobody else has been able to, we've been able to say that against. Drake May went out there and looked terrible. He looked awful. And that just goes to show, anytime you are trying to really decide between a veteran player like Matthew Stafford, who's playing that well, against a young guy like Drake May, who's rising, you have to, I think people got to just be smarter and realize, don't discredit the veteran. There was no reason why anybody should have been trying to pick Drake May over Matthew Stafford. Fuck the schedule, fuck everything else. Just look at how impressive Matthew Stafford was during this year. There was a point where he had thrown 30 touchdowns with no interceptions. Drake May never did that over a stretch. He was never that impressive. And I liked Drake May's season. I thought he was good. But Matthew Stafford was on a heater. He was on a heater to start this year, up until about that Carolina game where he really fucked up a couple times. And I don't really see how it was ever a debate. Again, just looking at the playoffs, looking at the way everything had went, Matthew Stafford had been easily and clearly and above the most impressive quarterback this year. He'd been playing high level against the best competition, doing it consistently. It was no reason to really have that debate, but people just wanted to force it. So I hope that this is a reminder. Experience always matters. So Matthew Stafford, congratulations. Longtime Detroit Lion. He was always really, really fucking talented, just stuck in bad situations. This is going to get him in the Hall of Fame probably. He deserves it. He had a really great career. Now, NFL news, that's really all I had to talk about. There's not too much else that's going on. One thing I wanted to just talk on before I go over to the NBA trade deadlines, just talk about the NBA itself. These niggas have been fighting. Last night, as I was literally getting ready to go and start to record this shit, the fight that broke out between Charlotte and Detroit, that is some of the wildest shit. It was not like Mouse the Palace levels, but it was still fucking insane. Isaiah Stewart needs to get suspended for an entire year. He is the definition of the crazy nigga that you keep on your team, so that you can just have somebody ready on the bench to just go and knock a nigga out if shit gets too crazy. Because he pulled up. I was really hoping he would have knocked Miles Bridges the fuck out. Fuck Miles Bridges, but hey, shout out to Detroit. I really like their team. I really like Cade Cunningham, and I'm really excited for them to be doing something in the playoffs this year. Alrighty, everybody. The NBA trade deadline has come and gone. Some teams have gotten better, some teams have gotten worse, and the biggest news story that I want to talk about is a case of a superstar who is not moved, and that is Giannis. That is right. Last week I came on here and I told y'all that I thought it would get done, and I thought he would probably get moved. Although I did say there was a chance, and it looked like that, and it turns out that chance is what came to fruition. They decided to keep him. I don't blame him at all. You know, Giannis is a big name superstar. He is once in a lifetime type of player. And so he's not somebody that you want to just give up for anything. You're going to want to make sure that when you give him up, when you are putting that on the trade block, you are going to get some value back. So I can't really say that I'm mad or say that I'm upset. You know what? Go ahead, do what you do. The offseason is going to come. He's already injured right now as it is, so that probably would hurt it just a little bit, even though we know it's still Giannis. So it makes sense. Trade him in the offseason. There'll be a lot more suitors, a lot more people interested. You don't know what happens in the playoffs. One of these teams that's getting ready to make a push, that maybe falls short. Who knows what happens with Houston? Who knows what happens with OKC? Maybe OKC ends up, they get shocked in the finals and they decide to take the Golden State route. And that would mean, go get Giannis. He'd be their KD, put him over the top. You really have so many different options for him. So it really makes sense. Wait till the offseason. Wait till everybody has a chance to really think about it, because right now with the trade deadline, teams that are I feel like they're contenders, they're not going to want to go and fuck anything up or fuck up the chemistry. So why force your hand when you don't need to? The other big move that happened, and this is one that I just have been struggling and not really understanding. James Harden traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers, they're having a good season again. They're playing well. They're on a hot streak as it is. And I understand that James Harden is still James Harden in terms of the numbers and everything like that, and maybe the superstar aura. But I do really wonder what you're thinking when you are going to go after a guy who time and time again has shown that he is a choker and an all-time he's going to let you down when you need him most. I just don't have a lot of real faith that this one is going to work out in their favor. I've understood, maybe they're trying to keep Donovan Mitchell there. From what I understand, his contract is going to be up in the next next year. So they're trying to convince him to stay. Going and getting him, and again, he probably had to sign off on that. They're not going to make a big move like that without trying to get the okay from their superstar, like, hey, how do you feel? So I hope that it works out for them in their case. This definitely makes their floor higher having somebody like him. He is someone who, in games 1 and 2 and 3, he can really come on and lead your team and maybe help you out in the playoffs. But when the going gets tough, it's going to be up to Donovan Mitchell. That nigga might disappear. He might end up, you'll maybe find him in some strip clubs in Cleveland after a game, but he might not be there when you need him, at least physically and mentally. One other thing that I noticed that I did want to talk about, I'm still at the point now, like I said, we still haven't had the All-Star break, so the NBA, I have not yet really been tuning too much in, so I don't want to act like I know exactly how everybody's been playing. But the Wizards, honestly, now a couple weeks back, we talked about Trae Young and how he got traded to Washington, what to expect from that and everything like that. And one thing that I had made clear when I talked about it was that Trae Young going there in a lot of different ways was him just as a bit of a salary dump, him just going somewhere where he can just show out, still put up some numbers, and then, when he does become a free agent, go somewhere and really, earn a contract. They're a young team. The Wizards have a lot of young players. They have a young core that they're trying to build on with that. And so it made sense in that sense. They got Anthony Davis in trade with the Dallas Mavericks. And when I think about that trade, I just think to myself, what is the intention? What is the goal? Because getting Trae Young is one thing. That's a big name. He's somebody who the Hawks were just looking to get rid of. He might just be a rental. Them going to get AD just maybe gives me an idea. Maybe they really think they're trying to build something with those two, because you don't get Anthony Davis, regardless of his injury history and everything like that. You don't give up what you had to get him, what you had to give to get him, unless you are trying to do something. And they're not going to do anything this year, and I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily know if, especially once you get a Jason Tatum back in Boston, once New York and Miami and some of these other teams make moves in the offseason, I don't really know if Washington is still going to be in a spot to where they would be, in any type of position to make a run. So it just begs the question of what the whole process is, what they're hoping to do, but we shall see. I'll give it time. Sometimes NBA franchises, the NBA is a weird league to me because it's never as transparent in other leagues, or at least I don't notice as much as some of these NBA teams, they really just don't give a fuck. These NBA owners, I should say. They don't give a damn. They're not trying to win. They're just trying to make sure that their tickets are sold and that they're making some type of revenue. It's frustrating, especially with the topic we're going to talk about coming up next, but it's just, I don't know what you're really trying to do. And one team that I do know that I am unfortunately call myself a fan of is the Chicago Bulls. And I want to say that
it looks like they're finally doing it. They are finally taking that final step and embracing a full-on tank. But we shall see. I mean, they traded Kobe White. They've got rid of pretty much everybody that's important and that really means anything. They've got so many fucking guards. I want to believe and I want to hope that this is them finally embracing that they got that they weren't going to have anything going. And the sad part about it is it's already a couple years too late, because how the fuck did you not get any first round picks for anybody? No first round picks for Zoe. No first round picks for Kobe White. No first round picks for Zach LaVine, Vujicic. None of them. So it's just a poorly run organization. I think that when we really look at it in the true grand scheme of things, I think most Chicago sports teams are not run well. The Bulls literally got lucky and lucked into getting the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan. The Chicago Cubs were famous for such a long time for just being fucking losers. The White Sox are the White Sox. The Blackhawks, before we had that dynasty, they were known as being a losing franchise. And then the Bears, listen, after George Halas died, for a long time, that family, the McCaskies and the Halas, they did not know what the fuck they were doing. Things look like they're changing now, but it looks like it's another case of you just have undeniable talent and you happen to hire the right guy, and that's what's getting you ahead. I don't know if I can say that we have well-run or well-organized teams, especially the Bulls. Especially once you learn more about them and you learn how Michael Jordan got damn near chased off, how they could have won 10, but they only won 6. Like, it's just so much shit that just reminds me, and this whole process of them trading this core away has been just a great example of how they just don't do things well. They're not run well. I don't know if Garpax or whatever the motherfucker's name is that's in there now as the GM, I don't know if they actually want to win. I don't know if they're just trying to sell tickets. It's been such a long time since I've really seen the city get excited about basketball, and it's crazy because when we had Rose, when we had Joakim Noah and all those guys, motherfuckers were like, that was a great time to be a Bulls fan. Yeah, you know that it was going to be tough, and you really knew that they probably weren't going to beat LeBron, but damn it, it was a good, fun, exciting time, and I miss that. And sadly, I don't know if I'm going to get to see that anytime soon unless they just get lucky and get a number 1 draft pick. Bulls fans, I'm sorry. It's going to be rough for us. It's going to be rough for us again this year. And the worst part about it is they're probably going to go on a run sometime in March, and it's not going to mean anything. And we're just going to be in the exact same spot we were last year. So, because that's just what it means to be a Bulls fan, unfortunately. It's mediocrity. They're the Dallas Cowboys in terms of the NBA. They're just mediocre all the fucking time, and not even like 4th, 5th seed mediocre, just play-in mediocre. And that's the worst type of mediocre you can be. All right, everybody, this has been your boy Jerm, and I want to say thank you all again for tuning in and checking out Kinetic Aesthetic in this edition of Sports Talk. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, and do whatever you have to do to stay tuned in, and make sure that you are notified when our next drop happens. Once again, this has been your boy Jerm. This has been Kinetic Aesthetic. I want to say thank you to everybody for checking us out. Make sure you drink a lot of more water. Make sure you say I love you to your friends and your loved ones. Just continue to be good people. This has been your boy Jerm, and I'm out.